I don't know what the hell he was peeing at this point when he was having severe dehydration. Was he peeing blood? Well, well, well. It is a joy to be back behind the mic again. Happy October, everybody, because 'tis the season to be spooky. Welcome to season 2 of Frame by Frame, starring moi, Christopher Not Nolan, where I dissect cinema one shot at a time. I know. I had disappeared a lot longer than an overdue library book, but let me be clear. I was not ghosting y'all. No. It was just a mere break was needed. But now, this coming season, it is going to be giving more of the Lindsay Lohan comeback energy. During my break, some of y'all got real curious and had reached out to me about my thoughts certain movies when it comes to how was Jurassic World Rebirth? How did I enjoy K-pop Demon Hunters and 28 years later? Well, I will be answering all of those questions in today's episode. So before we proceed, y'all know the drill. Go be my superhero squad behind the screens. So go and hit the like button with the strength of the thing. Comments with the stretch of Mr. Fantastic. Share with the passionate fire that comes from the Human Torch. And most importantly, subscribe to the invisibility commitment that comes from the Invisible Woman. Meaning, I know you did it, even though no one else can see it. Now, grab your popcorn, buckle up, and let's dive into the latest of my movie reviews from this past summer at lightning speed. This is going to go a lot faster than a Marvel post-credit scene because I've got a lot of films to cover, y'all. And here... Starting off with Ballerina in the world of John Wick. Talk about the grace of Swan Lake with pirouettes mixed with pistols. I mean, this works for the most part. To expand the world with blending ballet movements, lethal combat, and great directing, which is like literally front row shots of all of this glamorous violence. Oof. Talk about a deadly combo. Despite a thin plot and great acting from Ana Diamant and chills when John Wick shows up, this mango grading is fresh enough with a 7.5. And I am voting for a sequel. Prima Ballerina? More like Prima Badass. In the John Wick universe, killing is an art. It's polished, it's disciplined, and it's wrapped in ritual. But in Predator Killer of Killers, it becomes a sport. It's raw, it's instinctive, and terrifyingly advanced. Now, this franchise didn't just evolve. It literally anthologized its way into history with Vikings, ninjas, World War II pilots, all against the ultimate killer, the Predator. And strangely, I found it very fascinating. It's bloody, it's action-packed, and brutally stunning that, to me, this was big screen worthy, in my opinion. If K-pop Demon Hunters pulled it off, this movie absolutely could have too. It was very fresh, and to be hunted through time, what a very interesting concept. So this film became an 8.5 for me. And especially if you like the Spider-Verse animation that's mixed with action, this gem very much delivers. In the world of the Predator, where it shows us the brutality of nature and the terror of the unknown, Straw strips it down, exposing the fragility of life and the desperation that whispers in the shadow. Let me tell y'all, Taraji P. Henson isn't just grasping at the straws. She's clutching the whole damn bale and my soul. She delivered an Oscar-winning performance that was just full of raw and heartbreak. And it was surrounded by an unfortunate, messy, and melodramatic script with noticeable tropes that came from Tyler Perry, the director himself. And it surprisingly threw in some deep social critiques. Taraji carried this whole film on her back, and she's really one of the most talented actresses that we have at the moment. I need the Academy to grant her a Best Actress Oscar win. And I'm not talking about an honorary one. In Straw, we saw that the thread is invisible because it's all emotional, systemic, it's merciless. But what if danger was something you could see, hear, tempt to swim from? Oh yeah, that's Dangerous Animals. Jaws literally walked, so this movie could just sprint in the same lane. Except When you look at the movie, humans are the real apex predators. Jay Courtney hosting these animals for his own sick pleasure by having an unhinged portrayal of his character. Talk about Animal Planet after dark. Nope. Overall, it resulted into a stable mango of his six. This was not a reinvention, but sharks are going to continue to scare the GP because we all know that sharks don't hesitate. They act when they see someone in their territory. To go from experiencing the teeth of danger to literally toothless and then just having us love dragons. How to Train Your Dragon hits us with loads of nostalgia. This reminds me of how basically dragons are just awesome creatures. I was fascinated. I was personally fascinated with them in fifth grade. It was dragon books, dragon shirts. It was literally everything dragons. I mean, think about it. They're not just love interests in Shrek. They're not just fighters in Nezha too. No, they're pets, they're planes, they're best friends. The dedication from the animation to the live action, the performances, the CGI, oh, the whole village to make this film, it turned out to be very entertaining to watch. And props to Mason Thames and Gerard Butler for their commitment. I would just watch this film all over again. Even Toothless, like I'll just feed him my fresh mango because it's an 8.5. If I had a pet dragon, I would personally name it, you know what? I would name it Blaze if it was a guy and Valindra if it was a girl. I know you're going to look it up. That's okay. Go ahead. Now, we know that sometimes the greatest enemies are often our fears until we raise our hearts to trust, to understand, to transcend. The love language is literally a human version of Tinder. You have materialists, which includes the accurate pickiness that people have nowadays when it comes to yearning for a partner. It comes from age, height, income. It's like everybody wants a 10 with millionaire vibes. Meanwhile, all these other people are ghosting faster than the Wi-Fi in the tunnel, exploiting the accuracy of the current dating climate, and even with some insufficient chemistry that I personally felt from Dakota Johnson's Lucy with the male leads. What's included in this film is a standout performance that is from Chris Evans. I would swipe right on this film and I would grade it a 7 for its smart, thoughtful tone. And for me, I'm usually open to a reconstruction of a rom-com, although if you are more with the standard formula, then I'm going to personally say that you might feel underwhelmed after watching the film. To go from a world obsessed with possessions, status, and carefully curated lives, we now step into a world where survival strips everything down to its rawest form. That's where 28 years later takes us. A visceral post-apocalyptic horror film where it may not have taken 28 years to do the sequel, but it did come back to prove that the infected are indeed timeless. Now, to throw the apocalypse, the weird nudity that appeared throughout the film, the fantastic debut of the child actor Alfie Williams, and then just a dash of the Power Rangers at the end. You don't want to know. It traded in its shock and its awe factor from before for more reflective and grim of a story. Because in 28 years later, the true fight is no longer over what territory you own or what guns you have, but it's more of over who survives, who adapts, and who actually remembers humanity. After watching this film, this mango reeked instead of freshly grown in that apocalyptic world with a 6. Despite all of the phenomenal reviews that I had heard online and the feedback, it just didn't do it for me. And that's because that is rare. Even with my anticipation for this movie, I love 28 Days Later. I love 28 Weeks Later. Now, maybe 28 Decades Later to bounce back? Don't even mention the sequel titled The Bone Temple to me. From the silent, abandoned streets of a world torn apart in 28 years later, we shift gears, literally, into the roar of engines, the blur of asphalt, and the adrenaline-fueled intensity that is of F1, starring Brad Pitt leading his way as a Formula One racer. I'm gonna tell y'all, Fast and Furious would feel very challenged against him and his skills, because in this film, it's less about family and more about horsepower, strategy, and what it's mainly about, the drive. 2 hours of fast editing cuts, adrenaline rush, tire smoke, and it literally just grabs my attention the entire time. I've watched it literally 3 times already. And the story, yeah, it's mostly predictable, but it manages to entertain throughout with sharp turns and is all the way down to the last lap. All thanks to Brad Pitt behind the wheel and his just ongoing leading man charm. And that is why my mangoes stay fresh with that checker flag and a grading of a 9. Now, fun fact, this is his biggest film ever. In Formula One, we see that it's all about skill, instinct, and split second decisions. But in Megan 2.0, more like Megan, the stakes are personal and the player is no longer entirely human. This was basically Britney Spears' toxic music video energy. Her slaying was a little bit more of a snooze. Even with the continuous conversation that we are having about the future of AI that's in different forms and seeing this in all types of other films from The Terminator and also in iRobot, it would have been a great film if it wasn't for the thin script and the direction. Props to the creative team for at least taking a risk because when it comes to creativity, it'll either land or it'll flop. So sorry, Megan. It's a 5 for me. Better luck getting an iOS upgrade with more than just bug fixes and security updates. Let's take it back. If Megan 2.0 reminds us how fragile humanity can be in the face of intellect and the power that we don't control, insert Superman. Because he reminds us of the power we aspire to harness. Strength, hope, and heroism that is just beyond imagination. Superman is proof that basically you can continue to reboot one of the world's most iconic and loved heroes and not make us yawn with some fresh energy. Now, me personally, when I saw this movie in the theaters, I went on Reddit, I went to Tumblr, and I saw extensive hot takes that were going on about this movie. My take on this? Yeah, maybe a little bit hot for y'all, but here we go. The villain with Lex Luthor, he doesn't actually feel like an afterthought. He actually felt like there was some depth to his character. And kudos to Nicholas Hoult. He is personally one of my favorite versatile actors as of now. Throughout this movie, there is some pacing in the middle that does kind of drag, but the heart of the movie is literally just pure Superman with a lot of balancing action and just the optimism of him helping out, even though he's an alien. Where actually the word immigrant apparently pissed only some people off. You know, just so. The performances are enjoyable and there's plenty of art imitating life or too woke material. This seems to be a hero that people will just never get tired of watching. And I personally say that as well. Now, this mango is going to keep the freshness hopeful with a 7.5. And credit to David Corenswet for the subtle voice changes that he put in his character. It was a very small detail, but yet it had a powerful ripple effect that I noticed. In Superman, we saw that the threats are grand, but calculated. The villains, they're often human or superhuman. In this case, survival isn't about speed or strength alone. It's about instinct, timing, and respect for the forces that are far older than ourselves. I'm talking about in Jurassic World Rebirth. You think that after 6 films that humans would learn that we cannot coexist with dinosaurs or attempt to associate with them? Apparently, I was wrong. At this point, just give the dinosaurs their own habitable place and just leave them be. Now, this film was just I felt very much nostalgic of Steven Spielberg from all the adventure and the action scenes and the great acting team of Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey. Although there was a questionable family who had a boyfriend, the daughter had a boyfriend, who was basically in a scene where he was peeing. I don't know what the hell he was peeing at this point when he was having severe dehydration. Was he peeing blood? While everybody may not agree, this movie was entertaining and, in my opinion, way better than the Jurassic World trilogy. This mango is a thing of beauty with a 7.5. Let me know below if you are going to watch the sequel. We have one world that reminds us how fragile humanity is in the face of nature. The other shows us how resilience, loyalty, and immortality redefine what it means to fight. I'm talking about The Old Guard 2, with Charlize Theron just continuing her acting reputation of being a baddie. And she goes against the ultimate baddie, Uma Thurman, aka Miss Kill Bill herself. If y'all haven't seen Kill Bill by now, what have y'all been doing? It's just like buying pay-per-view. So the ultimate anticipated match. It did somewhat of a lackluster result, like the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight. This mango, it's not going to be immortal, but it definitely isn't rotten. It's a 6 for me. Now, Netflix, make the trilogy with Olgard 3. I'm not the only one who is not going to get tired of watching Charlize Theron just kick ass. As the dust settles from centuries of combat, now we get ready for chaos that is of a different kind. Medea making sure that no drama goes unchecked in Medea's destination wedding. We get the same familiar chaos where, if you're familiar with Tyler Perry, you already know what to expect. The signature sass, the insults, and once again, leaning it on that slapstick humor that is predictable, and there is some cringe feedback from us. The tropical setting does change things up, but not enough to save the dated humor. Loyal fans of Tyler Perry may get a little kick and chuckle if they're bored with their time, but everybody else, take my word for it and just use my Rotten Mango with a 3 and just throw it away. I do like some Medea movies. Medea's Christmas and the airport scene that is in witness protection. Okay, it's not all cringe. Now, Medea may go settle scores with her sass and with the humor, but now the summer gets deadly. Oh, that's right. I know what you did last summer, which is another PSA on why group secrets just don't work out. Let's be real. Slasher villains are the best damn secret keepers. The script? It was promising, but after seeing I Know What Y'all Actually Did, I'm not impressed. While the kills are stylish, and yes, the fact that there are Easter eggs from the first two movies that literally fulfilled my inner child, bit of fun fact, my folks didn't allow me to watch this movie at the time, but yet I still managed to. Oops. The suspense in this movie, it gives more of like a watered down version of the original. Although I am going to give my props to, hopefully I can say her name correctly, Chesu Wonders. She literally impressed me, and she gets my stamp of being the standout character and actress in this film. I want her to be cast in more horror films. She's got the Scream Queen potential. She kept my attention throughout. Overall, I want to keep my summers fun and accident free. I give this film a 6 because while the post-credit scene did hype me up for a potential sequel, the end result almost abolished the legacy and it made me mad. We have one summer that is suspenseful and full of fear. The other summer is the complete opposite. A summer camp detour that involves music, slick moves, and unity with a lot of creatures. I'm talking about Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. Because first, we had zombies and cheerleaders. Then they added werewolves. Then it was a collaborative unit from an alien invasion. Nah, just when you thought the town of Seabrook ran out of supernatural exchange students, Disney literally said, oh my God, the zombies, they're still dancing. The werewolves, they're still growling. And now the vampires, now they're showing up with perfect hairlines who I think even the Cullen family would actually approve of. The songs that are in this film are definitely catchy, which makes sense because if you didn't see the TikTok trends that were going around, the dances that I saw, they were fire, and props to everybody who did it very well. The leading performances, they continue to keep us entertained throughout. It's very much Disney camp, very much supernatural glee. It continues that energy. And overall, it knows what it's doing, and it's a win for me. Now, Seabrook, y'all better add some more lockers if you're going to expand to mermaids, witches, and warlocks, or even mummies. So I can see this going on for a few more films. I give this a 7.5 because Disney did it right. Those dance moves, they were sharper than the vampire's fangs. I will initiate a short interlude right here and take the first break. So when I get back, I will be mentioning Fantastic Four, First Steps, K-pop Demon Hunters, Weapons, and so much more. So stick around. Now, let's get back into the last half of this lightning speed movie reviews. So we had vampire showdowns and daywalker drama that happened in Zombies 4. Now let's shrink down to the Smurf village. While we know the adventures that await with the Smurfs, Rihanna and her star power of voicing Smurfette, it couldn't save this film. Because at least the blue people of Avatar on Pandora, they've got action. They've got a cool plot. They've got mind-blowing visuals. So this one, it just had blue mushrooms, and it had a script that just felt as flat as a Smurf pancake. Despite the positive messages that were in the film about not mistaking kindness for weakness, which you can never go wrong with, I am here for it. The storyline that was just in the script, it was a bit formulaic, While it is nostalgic to bring the franchise back, I'm all for the family friendly films that just know how to hit with their humor. Smurfs, I'm sorry, this wasn't it. The mango is very pint sized and it's rotten. It's a four for me. We got Fantastic Four first steps, the first family of Marvel, literally taking their first steps in the MCU with a retro futuristic flair that should have been it in 2005. I mean, the aesthetic that was in this film, it is yeah, it is refreshing. I liked the chemistry from this group, the performances. It was just well done. And the developed powers over the 3 years that happens in this story, it was literally everything. While the pacing in this film could have used some improvement and the plot did feel a little bit elastic, the action and the emotional arc maintained throughout was just well done. And the villain, Galactus, he was a great choice, but I felt that he was a little bit undeveloped in the intimidation factor. But I feel like they did this on purpose so that way he could potentially return in the Avengers movies. Invisible Woman was definitely the standout character for me with her ultimate power of just being a protective mother. Oof, that scene came in full clutch, and my mother really resonated with that part. Now, let's trade superhuman abilities for questionable golf skills. I'm bringing up Happy Gilmore 2, where apparently the nostalgic charm is the new wave now, capitalizing on 2000s pop culture. And I didn't hear anybody ask for the sequel, but it's not a horrible extension. The plethora of surprise cameos that were in this film, they do add levels of laughter from Bad Bunny to Eminem. It's literally a celebrity buffet. 77, in fact. The humor, it hasn't changed, and with Happy's personal struggles, I did like the additional layer that they did add with this comedy. The controversial move of the abrupt character that was in the beginning. Yeah, I got mixed vibes about that. So some certain plot choices and the chosen antagonist that was in this, it didn't fully develop in my opinion. So this mango is personally a six for me. The golf ball, it landed in the sand, and there's definitely no chance for a birdie, but there's still promise of the golfer to stay in the game, and I wouldn't be mad for Happy Gilmore 3. I'm just saying. Let's have the golf ball settle for a little bit, and let's get ready for team of bad guys who come with clever schemes, witty dialogue, and a crew of lovable criminals that are pulling off some impossible heights. I am talking about The Bad Guys 2, where the crew is back. If y'all have seen the first one, it was very fast paced, very colorful, and definitely hilarious as a heist animated comedy. And thankfully, they stayed right on track. The jokes, they could be either a hit or a miss, but when I saw this at the movie theater, oh, it was a hit from everybody that was there. And they came out of retirement to join an all female crew for one last heist. It's like giving Ocean's 11 if they had fur and a snack break. Mr. Wolf's swag could almost match the charm that is of George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Now, I enjoyed this film so much, although Mr. Wolf, he better not steal my mango. No, because even though it's fresh and even though it's a 7.5 grade, go rob some other territory. Okay. With The Bad Guys 2, we had laughs that were delivered in a colorful, stylized world. And then there's laughs with over the top antics and some real world silliness that comes about in The Naked Gun. Now, let me tell you, Liam Neeson's deadpan face and the slapstick humor, oh, it slapped. This film literally, intentionally leans into the absurdity that surrounds this franchise, and everybody that was involved in this film understood their assignments. The laughter that I heard from the theater, it was continuous, it was undeniable, and it was definitely loud. Because who knew that this revival would deliver some good spoof comedy in the social climate that is of 2025. I mean, I certainly didn't think so, because the gags, oh, they hit like water balloons. Messy, yet enjoyable. All of the wordplay that was in this, mentioning Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Fergie, man's laughter, one of my personal favorites. This film literally just cracked me up. It was definitely comedic silver, not gold though, and it's a 6.5 for me. I would not mind a Naked Gun too, and I wonder what they're gonna mention in that one. From one humorous movie that delivers, here's another that attempts the humor, but they sadly missed their cue in The Pickup that is on Amazon Prime. Look, They picked up a fantastic cast in the comedian legend that is Eddie Murphy, the digital entertainment queen herself, Kiki Palmer, and Homegirl, the hilarious Pete Davidson, and the lavish Eva Longoria for what we get is a recycled plot that we already see in ordinary heist action comedy movies. They picked up a few good laughs and some decent action. Now, what they didn't pick up was literally class A comedy gold that could have happened between Eddie Murphy and Kiki Palmer. Because to me, I personally felt underwhelmed and I felt it was a huge missed opportunity. They also didn't pick up the striking visuals where on the road it was a little bit flat to watch, and they didn't pick up the great, like the full potential that the great talents usually bring. And it could have just been elevated. It could have been a great film, but it ended up being a bit mediocre with a solid 4 for me. So it's too bad because if this mango would have been fresh, it would have been a great pick me up. Now, one thing that you guys do not want to pick up is attachment. And I mean that it literally in the physical sense, because if you guys don't have a clue, I'm talking about the film Together. I mean, when they say love hurts, I wasn't thinking literally. In a sense, when you look at this film, it's like a horror love story with Dave Franco and Alison Brie that it'll have you asking, do I really want to be this close to anyone? I mean, there's got to be another way. You already know. Now, this film can be a bit gross for some people. I know one scene involving the bathroom. Oh, that just clinched me up. I was just feeling awkward during that part. Also, simultaneously, it's oddly touching while having some unexpected humor, not like Weapons, which I will tackle next. Both performances in this film bring dedication, undeniable chemistry, which I would hope since they're married in real life. And it definitely is unforgettable. But in order for me to rewatch it, nah, not for me. Some of the scenes already live rent free in my head. I'm trying to kick that out because I will say that I will give this an 8 for delivering the dark side of codependency. If y'all have heard, or if y'all have personally said, I just want us to be closer. Why aren't we closer? Yeah, a little bit of a heads up. That's your fair warning. Now, when it comes to relationships, in this film, relationships and trust, they took center stage. Now it's mystery and worry that is full on with Weapons, where 17 kids disappear from one teacher's classroom overnight, and it is told through multiple perspectives. So when you think about it, think of Pulp Fiction and then mix in the suburban nightmare and just sprinkle in the cringe behavior, unexpected laughter, and the hella creepiness of Aunt Gladys. Do me a favor, y'all. Make sure you go verify who's actually your aunt. For real, for real. Thankfully, I already did mine, and I'm good. The end result for me, it just wasn't it. The horrors, the scary parts, they fell short where it was supposed to land. The dark humor did well, and I figured that the ending, maybe it was just my predisposed expectations, but I felt that the ending would have been solved more differently. The vibe was unsettling, and the only mark that it left on me as I left the theater, not to rewatch it ever again. Especially with Aunt Gladys, hell no. So I'm not gonna rewatch it from being scared. No, it was more just the lack of satisfaction that I had with the film. So this mango, this mango is not going to be in Aunt Gladys's water bowl anytime soon. It is going to stay a 5 for me. Now, fair warning. If y'all's stomach cannot handle graphic material, kind of like 28 years later and stuff like that, yeah, you heard it here first. You are warned. Now, to go from a dark, grim perspective to a spectacular neon colors. Okay, I'm going to brighten y'all up with this film, Nezha 2, mythology that has a spectacular overload in glorious technicolor. I mean, yo, the colorism in this film is like saturation at its finest, and the animation is very much jaw-dropping. I see why now. Fun fact for y'all, it is the highest grossing animated film ever. It literally, this year alone, it just surpassed Inside Out 2. So when you watch this film, brace yourself for some of the plot pileups and some of the tonal whiplash. So This film, it takes you on a wild ride of mythological heroes, dragon wings, like I mentioned before, and some cosmic drama, which it can leave some people dazed and some exhaustion. So just a little bit of beware for that. My main goal is going to be overall very colorful on this and very much fresh with a solid 9. It's literally giving zero chill. And trust me, if you were to see a rainbow tornado happening outside, that's how zero chill is. Now, so the drama escalates in a world of crime and risk, all just from cat sitting, y'all. And don't worry, the cat is okay, despite a little bit of a leg injury, which hurt me and pissed me off for whoever injured that cat. If you see the movie, y'all will know. So I'm talking about caught stealing, where I don't know how Austin Butler, he just steals our attention with his charismatic charm, his versatility, and overall a standout performance. It is just crazy to me. I mean, this movie is a crime thriller with a little bit of a punk rock edge. His character finds himself entangled with the criminal underworld in NYC. All from the events that carried on, it all started from watching his neighbor's cats. This is proof that saying, I'm on my own business, doesn't always work. Now, if y'all get asked to cat sit, think twice before you actually say yes. Okay, I will say, thankfully, I have cats. I have personally cat sat. Now, thankfully, it hasn't happened to me. I have cat sat twice, and thankfully, I'm still here. The caught stealing, stylish direction, while it stumbles in tone and pacing, it blends in depth that is very well done and delivered from a strong ensemble. And the music itself adds a layer that is just, it completes the aesthetic itself, the punk rock aesthetic. So if you're a fan of the gritty crime thrillers with a touch of humor and a little bit of a punk rock edge, to me, this is worth the watch. So it's a 7 mango rating for me. And Austin Butler is a big reason of why that is happening. And Austin Butler is a big reason for that. Now, before, survival, it depends on cunningness and strategy. Now, in K-pop Demon Hunters, survival depends on killer K-pop moves, teamwork, and high energy battles. The plot is very much straightforward, very colorful as well, and also an original story, and the animation itself is just magnificent. It was originated from the director's desire to literally create a story inspired by Korean heritage mixed with K-pop, demonology, and also mythology. It's definitely over the top, and if y'all like it, oh, it's very entertaining. Think about Buffy from the Vampire Slayer. If she slayed demons instead of vampires, and she had some backup dancers that literally resembled $1 million budget, oh, you literally have this. Voila. I highly recommend y'all to watch this if you haven't already. So I hope y'all have already got your Netflix account, so that way you don't miss your chance of seeing this film. A little bit of a heads up, it did very well at the box office. The action, it's epic. It's definitely big screen worthy. You will watch it. Please watch it and you will see why. Because this is a definite fresh mango for me with a solid 9. And I'm going to keep doing the soda pop dance in the meantime. Yo, my soda pop, my little soda pop. Now, for those who didn't see it, yeah, that's it. You already know. Now, to go from literally K-pop dancing to Freakier Friday, where swapping bodies, you get teen angst, identity crisis, and also millennials are rejoicing. Yeah, I say that one of the few things that is scarier than puberty is parenting. And this movie absolutely showcases that to big chaos. To see the screen, Jamie Lee Curtis, to see the Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis, and the absolute glowing of Lindsay Lohan coming back, undeniable chemistry, pure entertainment, and laughter is what you get. And the matching counterparts as well to match them nicely. Also, quick shout out to Manny Jacinto, who I personally met last October after this film wrapped. Oh, he did a fantastic job. And literally in the picture, I almost wore black pants that day. So it is crazy how we literally almost matched without even planning it. If he miraculously sees this, man, I knew that you would do well in this film. I hope to see you more on the big screen. And I told you I would keep my word on supporting this film. And also, man, show me your man moves. I'm just saying. Anyway, this film is a solid 7 for me. Now, sign me up for Freakiest Friday. I don't care if it takes another 20 years. And in 20 years, yes, continue to bring back Chad Michael Murray, please. All right, y'all. With all 27 films now accomplished, dang, I am going to avoid that again for future episodes. When I come back from my second break, I've got more juicy news for you. So don't go away. Welcome back, y'all. I hope you got your popcorn and your drink ready because we are going into one of my favorite segments where I update you on the latest of what's being talked about behind the scenes. Now it's time to pull the curtain back and see what's behind the lens. To kick this off, I am glad that Jimmy Kimmel is back on our screens after the controversy of him being pulled by Disney and ABC happened. I mean, y'all, when that chaos happened, all of the numerous reports that I saw from the anger and the frustration from the violation of the First Amendment, Disney Plus literally lost more than $3 billion in its cancellations, all within less than a week. Because all of that outrage that occurred, the fact that he finally returned with a lot of praise, high ratings, and he was trending for days on social media. Even when they changed their mind, I saw that a lot of people were still gonna not renew their Disney Plus contracts because of due to them giving in the first place from being peer pressured by the government. So y'all want to keep your Disney Plus contracts canceled, that is your decision. If you want to renew it, that is completely up to you. James Gunn has recently teased about the Superman sequel titled Man of Tomorrow and how the story will be. Get this, a Superman and Lex Luthor team up. Quote, it's a story about Lex Luthor and Superman having to work together to a certain degree against a much, much bigger threat. Now, filming for the sequel is reportedly going to be starting around April 2026. By the way, Mr. Gunn, can I get a cameo in that? I mean, doesn't hurt to take a chance on me, right? Limited team up between these two, it's going to be an interesting take because while I wonder, in the comics, there are a lot of villains that Superman faces. So I'm thinking about which villain is going to force them to team up. Intrigue. Oh, also another quick note, the Batman Part 2 is also reportedly filming at the same month as well. Speaking of superhero films, it has been reported that 2025 is the first time in 14 years, keep that in mind, that not a single comic book movie has crossed the $700 million global box office mark. I mean, y'all, literally think about it. Since 2011, every year had at least one superhero blockbuster film that would break past that number, and it would just have sold out movie theaters and times. Like, it would be crazy. From the Avengers, Ant-Man, Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, even Black Panther, and of course, the latest Spider-Man No Way Home, as just to name a few. I mean, this begs the question, is the superhero fatigue literally hitting everyone hard now after Endgame, after the switch up with DC? I mean, the fatigue has hit me as well because I want to see some more original films that is very refreshing for us. Sinners is a big example of that. And then to have more books to be adapted into films that are just written from great authors, and then just to have more gripping material in multiple genres, it is crazy. Superman is currently at $614 million. Fantastic Four is at $515 million. Brave New World, $415, Avi. And then, of course, Thunderbolts at $382 million being the lowest of the four. I mean, yo, numbers don't lie. I'm still going to watch Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm still going to watch Avengers Doomsday. And I'm still going to watch Secret Wars, the Superman sequel, Batman Part 2, and much more. So go ahead and leave your thoughts about this because trust, this is going to be an ongoing discussion. My featured guests that are going to be on this season, they've got thoughts as well. I really hope that there's no superhero fatigue when it comes to the new X-Men movie. Ooh, I am so hyped for this. The director, Jake Schreier, has recently stated, quote, we started work on X-Men, and that's obviously very, very exciting. There are so many things that I didn't know about before I started Thunderbolts. The biggest learning curve for me was the proportion of the action to the more emotional, character-driven scenes. Personal anecdote. I grew up with the original trilogy that is of the X-Men, and besides the Avengers, this group is my all-time favorite Marvel group due to their unique powers, the deep social political messages of humans versus mutants. It's literally just a group that I was first exposed to when I was a kid. And I personally, I have a soft spot for the X-Men. Storm's powers, Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean and Phoenix, and Professor X. I mean, come on now. So, with the rights finally in MCU's hands, and we've seen how Marvel has been delivering, oh, X-Men deserves top tier representation and the budget for their powers and really just bring them to ultimate chaos. I need Storm to cause way more chaotic weather. I need Cyclops to be used way more than his limitations for his visor power. Overall, I'm hyped to see what's in store, and I cannot wait. More sequel news. Even though 2026 is in hindsight, there is a lot of 2027 movie releases that are being put out there. And some of those include, obviously, Man of Tomorrow, Rec 5, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Sonic 4, With the Return of Shadow, and a new exciting character, Zilla Kong Supernova, Quiet Place Part 3, what? TMNT Mutant Mayhem 2, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, The Batman Part 2, Avengers Secret Wars, and y'all, I didn't even know about this till recently, Frozen 3. Now, Frozen is going to be a trilogy. That's going to be something. Some other films that have been listed include The Thomas Crown Affair and the anticipated The Legends of Zelda. Oh, y'all, little kid in me is jumping for joy at this because I played the Zelda games a lot when I was a kid. And that is one of the films, that is in my top 2 of the films that I am mostly looking forward to. So, out of the list that I mentioned before, which ones are you looking forward to? I want to hear your thoughts. And by the way, y'all, we're also going to get a Lilo and Stitch sequel too. Not a surprise there. And classic news, Back to the Future is going to be returning to the movie theaters for its 40th anniversary. Ooh, I know what I'm adding to my Halloween plans this year. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And the first movie is one of my all-time favorite 80s movies. And I love how Hollywood has not touched it for a reboot, a remake, a requel, and let's keep it that way. I mean, I can't wait to time travel for a little bit and just feel like what it was to be in the 80s, to watch this movie in the theater without the mustaches, the boat shoes, and the shell suits. So overall, I'm excited. I hope y'all get to see Back to the Future as well, because if you haven't seen it, watch it when it's in theaters. Now in prequel news, apparently, we are getting a prequel from The Conjuring. I mean, it isn't enough that The Conjuring Last Rites did well at the box office. Now, supposedly the prequel is in the works. It was promoted as the case that ended it all, or the case that put them in retirement. And so I expected a once and for all deal, like close the franchise, end it on a high note. And if y'all haven't seen it yet, there's Easter eggs that occur from the previous films. And the fact that this franchise began in 2013, it continued with Annabelle and the Nun. So I personally am not here for it, but we're going to see how much milk that they get. In the meantime, the new Frankenstein movie that is going to be released on October 17th got a 13-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, which for those who are unaware, this is a prestigious film festival, and to get that ovation is a huge deal. Directed by the great Guillermo del Toro, I am very hyped to see how this film is, especially after hearing the feedback and also considering October is my favorite month for horror films and Halloween is my favorite holiday. I cannot wait to watch this film at night in my place. And then, especially because it's going to be on Netflix. Oh, I cannot wait to just turn off the lights, eat my popcorn or maybe some pizza, and then just see what the horror is going to be with this creature. I love horror films and I can't wait to see it. Now, moving on. Filming for The Devil Wears Prada 2 has been quite extensive on social media. There has been a lot of recordings from paparazzi and people that are on the streets of New York just to get validation that they were there, and they're all invading the production spaces. To me, this is just outrageous. What happened to space? What happened to just letting people work? And to see Anne Hathaway confront the paparazzi with grace and dignity was giving a Queen Mia Thermopolis energy. It was everything. When this film was first made back in 2005, there was no social media, we didn't have touchscreen phones, and there was no media invasions. Unlike today, like seeing all of this footage is just almost ruining the magic of making a movie where there's leaks happening everywhere on TikTok and on Instagram, and people are making edits about that. It's literally taking out the element of surprise of the story for everybody. Now, I personally wish that there were more restriction when it comes to paparazzi and just random people recording during the scenes. Y'all need to do better. Act better. Let the people work. Do not spoil it for everybody else and maintain the magic because I want to see it when it happens in the theaters. Christopher Nolan has officially wrapped filming of the Odyssey. Oh, y'all don't know how much hype I am for this movie. I cannot wait to see it next summer. I just want it to be next summer in IMAX theater. And I am just going to be walking into that theater. I am going to be speechless. I'm going to have a box of Kleenex next to me. And it is going to be a masterpiece. Quoting Drake, what a time to be alive. Because I already know I am going to cry during watching this film. I'm definitely going to rewatch this in the theaters repeatedly. And I mean, y'all, think about it. Knowing the works of the phenomenal director that is of Christopher Nolan, who is my favorite all-time director. I mean, like this film, I already predict it is going to go down as one of the best films of the 21st century, probably one of the best films of 2026. And for those of you that want to watch it with me, I am going to be too stunned and too quiet each time in the theater. There's a little bit of a heads up there. Now, in season 1, I originally would end my episodes after all this, but yeah, we're doing things a little bit different this season with this exciting new segment that I am hyped to announce to y'all after I take my final break. So stay tuned. Welcome back, y'all. I have a new segment to introduce to y'all called Offscript Stories, where things may go a little off the rails. So every time I have this segment, I will be bringing in a new face with a crazy story to tell. And let's face it, we all love the bloopers, right? Reality TV confessionals, except with a lot less Botox. This segment was previously recorded, so let's see what he has to say. Welcome to Offscript Stories, a new segment where the guest of choice will be able to share their real life moment with us like it's literally out of a movie. And today's guests, well, they're going to be sharing the story themselves. Now, mind you, I have never heard of these stories before, so you are literally going to get an unfiltered reaction out of me. Oh, what are we waiting for? Let's bring our guest in.
What's up? How you doing?
Doing good. Where are you at?
I'm in the casino.
I am not surprised to hear that. So why don't you go tell the audience, since you're a fresh face on this podcast, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Nulu. I am the founder of Star Cause Entertainment Group and New Review Production. And yeah, I mean, I've known you for quite a while now, so I'm excited to be on your podcast.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, man. So before we get to the story, what is your fascination with movies?
Yeah, so my fascination with movies, for me, it's an escape. You know, I think it's an escape for the mundane, being in my own world with my own problems, trying to get away from that and just watching stories unfold, right? I think for me, I learn a lot from movies. There's a lot of stories. If the story is told correctly, there's a lot that I can learn from it. So not only is it an escape for me, but it's also a reflection of what I can apply to things in my life. Even if the story's outlandish, even if the story's out of there, right? I feel like I can learn so much from just like media and I can apply lessons into my life.
I feel you on that. That's exactly how I feel as well. So go ahead and share with us your story.
Yeah. So, okay. In middle school, I went on a date with a girl and I was a little bit nervous because at that time I was not the flyest guy in the room or whatever. Right. So I was able to like get this girl, this pretty girl and everything to go on a date with me. So we go to watch I Am Legend, you know,
Awesome
the one with,
movie.
yeah, awesome movie, amazing movie. But I did not know that a dog dies. Spoiler alert. Sorry. I did not, well, because this movie just came out at that time. So I want to say this is 2012, maybe wrong. Someone's going to have to fact check me.
Dude, you're way off. It's like 2007, 2008.
Dude, okay. Yeah, so yeah, way off. Yeah, you're right, because I was in middle school. Yeah. See, I'm forgetting my own time frames. But okay, we go to the movie theaters, right? And there's a double date too on top of that. So I'm sitting in the outside where the stairs are at. Then you got my date, and then the other two couple are right next to her. Then the whole situation with the dog happens. And since it came out of nowhere, tears start just falling, coming out of my eyes. And like she turns around and looks at me, and I'm over here just like, and I'm trying not to sniffle too, because I have like when you start to cry, you get the little sniffles and stuff. So I'm over here, and I'm like coughing, trying to mask it. Like I don't want I don't want her to see me like have emotion, because I'm young at the time. I'm trying to be the masculine, right? It's okay for men to have emotions, but at the time I'm like, I'm too cool for that. So yeah, so I'm over here trying to mask it and everything, and she just keeps staring at me, and I'm over here like, oh, I got something in my eye. Hold up. and just trying to hold into those sniffles. So that really just stands out with me a lot, just because that's when I realized that I have a huge love for dogs. It was because of that movie. I grew up with dogs, but because of that movie, I'm like, I cannot. That if you want to get me where it hurts, do something to a dog.
Dude, almost any horror thriller and there's a pet involved, most
Yeah.
likely that's going to be the case.
And then they have the whole like, what is it? Because Will Smith had that. His daughter gave him that dog, that pup, right before the whole
Yes.
world went down and everything. So there was. It's one thing to see something happen to an animal, get hurt or die or whatever, but it's another thing when there's like backstory to like there's depth behind that animal, right? So I think that's what got me the most is his relationship because he was alone. He had nobody but his dog, and he had to put his dog. Yeah, that really got me. To this day, every time that I watch it, even though I feel like I already know what happens, it can still get me.
Okay, wait, backtrack a little bit. Did the day go well despite those tears?
I don't remember, if I'm being honest. Remember, all I remember, because this is middle school, so all I remember is crying and feeling bad about crying.
But you know how those middle school days go. I mean, you go
Yeah.
to the movies, some people are going to see you, and then by Monday morning, people are going to be talking about, "Hey, I saw you on the day, how'd it go?" So
And,
that
and
way,
that's a very good question. I do not remember what happened. I'm trying to I don't even think I remember the girl. I just remember the movie.
okay, so then you know what? We'll just say it was an okay date in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least that's a story worth sharing. So
There's just so many things from that film that I remember, and it's still like I still carry that to this day, right? So this is I love that film. I will stand by it. One great film.
but before we wrap things up, I have one final question for you. Besides I Am Legend, name any movie that is on your list that has helped shape the person that you are today.
A few. I have to think through this. Bridge to Terabithia was one of the films that really got me as a kid. One of those things where it's like you never know what can happen, and you just got to cherish everything that you have in the current moment.
Yeah.
That film just taught me so many lessons. I think that shaped me as the person that I am now in my adulthood. Now, mind you, I don't remember everything that happened in the film, but I do remember having such a deep impact on me. Just because, from what I remember, the main character, he goes with his teacher to not the field trip or the museum, or I don't remember what it was, and that's when he loses his friend. He was supposed to go with his friend, but he doesn't. Right? There are so many lessons from that, and I think if I remember correctly, I looked into the film, and there's a lot of deeper meanings to the director or the writer of the film. Yeah, it's one of those films that really like shaped me a lot as an adult.
Well, it definitely did make a few of us cry because it's not your ordinary family-friendly film, especially with
Yeah.
what happens towards the end. That is something to think about. Okay, so Bridge to Terabithia, not a bad choice.
Yeah, and so I think also like the imagination aspect of it, because like when they go into their little forest area where they have like their whole world building thing, they use a lot of their imagination. And I think for me growing up, so I grew up as an only child. So I didn't really have friends. I mean, I had friends, so don't get me wrong. I was a social guy. I didn't have siblings. I didn't grow up surrounded by by people and everything. So for me, it really helped me, or not accept, but like be okay with like escaping, using my imagination for all of that. So
Have you read the book, Bridge to Terabithia?
have not, no. I think that's what I was talking about. The author of the book, there was there was something special about it. I think her child lost a friend, and then she had the inspiration of writing this. But no, I haven't read the book.
It's okay. No worries. Well, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you sharing the story. And then for everybody else that's just only hearing this, he actually has a spot here as a guest co-host. You're just gonna have to tune in to find out. Before we wrap this up, man, is there anything else that you would like to say?
No, I want to say thank you so much for having me. Um, I'm excited. I love your work. I love everything that you're doing. I'm just excited to see how far you're going to keep on going.
Yeah, trust me, the drive is real, and the viewers and the listeners are not ready for our episode. The only thing I can say to just a little bit of a tidbit, chaotic.
Yes, yes. I don't want to say much because like I don't want to spoil it, but it's something I'm passionate about. So if I'm not yapping too much now, I'm gonna be yapping in that.
So that's something for them to look forward to. Thank you for sharing your story, Matt. I can't wait to see you again in the near future. And for everybody, that is Offscript Stories. And that is a wrap of today's episode of Frame by Frame, starring Christopher Not Nolan. But maybe one day I can borrow his IMAX camera or use it to direct a scene. Well, that would be a dream come true. Movies have the power to bridge divides, which is why I leave y'all with this positive quote to keep in mind. You know, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the lights. Okay, that was not planned. Okay, I had rehearsed this and I had did it swiftly. My bad, y'all. But either way, that was from Professor Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter. So once again, thank you all for hanging out with me. Until next time, keep your popcorn buttered, keep your take spicy, and let's keep those credits rolling, huh? Catch you later.